Okay. Looks like we're recording. So yeah. Um, many of you guys just, I'm pretty sure, don't know me. I'm pretty low key on the internet. But you can call me Enik or Chenra if that's something you can do. You fuck me, bro. Why is this so hard? Shit. Anyways, you can just call me whatever my fucking name is here on YouTube. It's probably gonna be easier. Um, it's not like I expect this to get like a lot of views or anything. I just woke up today and I wanted to change. I had been thinking about making a video for a while, just kind of low effort. Yeah, I admit it's a little low effort, but I just kind of wanted to like talk about some stuff and talk about what I've been thinking, and and it might not make sense as I'm saying it because I don't really have a script. I know you should make a script for these stuff, but today I just kind of wanted to do something different with my life. And yeah, like I said, I woke up earlier than I usually wake up, on purpose. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule. I've been recently getting up at around 11 a.m., which I fucking hate, because getting up at 11 a.m. Usually entails that you basically missed out on your entire day or like half the day. So I'm glad I got up a little bit earlier today. I got up at 9:30, which is good. Not doing it consistently, but I do want to. And I woke up today and I was like, you've been feeling really down. You've been feeling like shit. It's been a year since you felt like genuinely happy. And I can't say I feel genuinely happy right now, but I want to. I want to feel happy. So here I am, just kind of winging it. Making a video. I've been thinking about just talking my mind, putting some gaming in the background, or maybe me drawing. I draw. So here I am, doing it. And what's been going through my mind. So maybe I'll give you guys a little bit of context. I'll try not to be too specific. I'm not famous or anything on this platform, or don't really expect this to get famous at all. But just to be safe, I'll try not to get too specific with it. So about a year ago, I moved to another country. I came here with my at the time partner. Calling her a partner is a stretch, but it's easier just to call her a partner for the sake of simplicity. And yeah, I went halfway across the world with her just to be with her here while she studied, and I ended up studying here as well. Just for context, I'm 29 years old, studying another bachelor's. I didn't finish my first one, in the process of doing that, but anyways, I came here to be with her, and a month in, she kind of dumped me. The reasons as to why she did it is kind of fair for her. She just doesn't like men. But the way that everything happened, and there's still some hurt in my heart, and I don't want to shift too much blame on her, but she is partly to blame for the way I feel. The other part to blame is myself. So I haven't really recovered from that completely since then. It's been around a year. Actually, it hasn't been a year. It'll be like a year in around a month. And it's been a rough year. I think I posted a channel recently on this YouTube channel. Just me walking around with my phone talking about how happy I was. Yeah, that was when I got here. And I was really happy. But it was all a lie. And yeah, I guess see things for what they are and not what you want them to be. So after she kind of broke things off with me around a month later or so, she started dating a girl, and I just couldn't take it, so I moved out. I moved out of the house. I left her here, and I still stayed in this country. She lives in the same city, but anyways, I went to live alone, and boy, I haven't lived with my parents in a while, but I had never lived alone, you know, and most of my friends, my close friends, and my relatives aren't here. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, it feels lonely. It's been rough, just having to deal with everything, not having an emotional support. It's been very enlightening indeed. You learn a lot of stuff when you're alone. You overthink stuff, but sometimes overthinking is good. Sometimes getting that brain into overdrive is just the perfect way to just process not emotions, but maybe just like the reality of stuff. I don't know, like I would call it like philosophizing or just deep thinking. When you're alone, I feel like you get really good at that, albeit kind of in your own bias, because that's you can't really call yourself a deep thinker or a philosopher if you do it in a vacuum, I think. I have friends here, of course, and I talk with them, and it's nice, and I love my friends here, but it's a small town, and it gets a bit boring, and you know how it be when small towns and gossip, and I didn't grow up used to that. Anyways, I feel like I'm talking about my life. I'm just talking about my experience here and how it's changed me. So yeah, into that process of moving out around 3 months in while living alone, I lost one of my jobs. I was working 2 jobs, remote jobs, thankfully, because getting a real job here, I have a real job, but getting a physical job here is impossible because I don't speak the language. I'm currently in Europe from South America, and I lost one of my jobs inadvertently. They just kind of, wasn't really my fault. They just kind of did layoffs, general layoffs. Not general, they literally laid everyone off because they were switching BPOs. So everyone got fired. My friends got fired, everyone. And so I've also been dealing with financial difficulties, and my objective is to stay here and make a life here for myself in Europe. And so the loneliness, accompanied by, all this shit. I feel like I'm fucking complaining, but yeah, I guess I am. I don't care. I like I said, I didn't have a fucking script. Just puts a lot of things into perspective. And I think the reason I'm telling you all this context is I feel like it's important for some of the thoughts I'm going to share. And maybe some people have these thoughts. I'm not going to say these are original thoughts, right? But in the process, in like the entire process living here, losing one of my jobs and being in financial difficulties, luckily I never suffered this throughout my life, but here I started to feel actual hunger. Like actually being hungry and not being able to eat. I think many people have it worse, right? But for me, it was definitely something new. I had maybe gone through through real hunger once in my life, and it was very temporary. But here it was bad. I've lost like 5 kilos. I lost like 5 kilos here in the span of like 3 months, which without like I exercise and shit like normally. I just go on my bike, but not I don't do like routines, and that may have fucked me up mentally a little bit, like my mental health a bit. But anyways, it was very enlightening. I don't know if monks, I think it's monks that kind of sit down and don't eat, and they meditate and they think, and when you're hungry, after a certain point, you start to appreciate small pleasures. Okay, so as an example, I would maybe go 3 days without like a proper meal, right? I would drink water, of course. I have access to water, thank God. And I had maybe, I don't know, I would kind of just find a way to like fill my stomach up a bit so I wouldn't get like gastritis, because I know that's something you can get. So I don't know, maybe I didn't have bread, but I don't even know how I managed. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I blacked that out. But I didn't get any stomach issues, thank God. Anyways, I would do my best to not get any illnesses from it. Maybe just taking water. And if I was gonna eat, I would eat around the 3rd or 4th day after I've been fasting, not on purpose, just lack of money. And those 3 days were always really interesting. You smell food and your mouth waters up. You look for every opportunity to have a bite. You appreciate every single bite. You don't just hog it down. I'm a fast eater. I eat pretty fucking fast. I don't know why I do it. I think it's just anxiety. I don't know. I know it's not something you should do. But I stopped doing that. Because I realized that every bite was a gift. Every single piece of food that went in my mouth was a gift. Every time I was able to go out and meet friends and they would offer food, I would try not to tell them. Some of them knew I was broke, but I would try not to tell people that I was like going through that amount of hunger. And now I can tell them, but at the moment I didn't. So every time they would offer food, I would be extremely grateful. And it just got me thinking how much shit you take for granted. And it was very enlightening. It calmed my nervous system down. I don't know if it slowed down my metabolism, because I just felt grateful every time I could have a bite. And I didn't feel happy. It was really depressing, but it was this calmness, like this surrendering yourself to the situation, and just understanding that sometimes you don't get what you want. And of course I would always do my best to be able to have food, right? Like if I had the option of having food, I would take it, but I kind of just did that. I did do it on purpose once, just for like curiosity, see if it was different while having food in my house. But I don't know. It kind of changed my brain chemistry a little bit. I see food differently. I see opportunities differently. I see money differently. I wasn't a huge like splurger, a huge shopper, right? I wasn't really. I've never been amazing with money. I just don't have the background to be good with money. But around a year or two ago, I started actually thinking about my finances and getting them together. And this really helped, because this really showed me what necessity is. And I'm acting like it's this big thing, right? Like oh, I went through such a tough time, and I was hungry, and oh my God, this is horrible. But like I was never really in a position of like immediate danger where it was like, if I don't eat, I'm gonna die. I know that if I reached out to my family members or anyone else, I could get food if that was something I really needed. But I just felt like I needed to go through it. And it taught me to not spend money on shit you don't need, right? I'm not saying you can't treat yourself every once in a while. Of course you fucking can. But if your money's low and tight, you just don't spend the money. And I still do it sometimes. I still fuck up. Like, it's not like perfect, but I still do it. But I'm better at it. Today I went out. I got paid yesterday. Not much. I still don't have another job. I need 2 jobs to be able to live comfortably here. But I did finish off paying off my student loan for my first bachelor. So that kind of freed up a little bit of money. I went out today, bought some medications, because medications here are fucking expensive. And I don't know if I traumatized myself into saving money or if I'm becoming stingy. I really hope I don't become stingy. I don't like that. But I was gonna go get like something for my computer so I could lift it up because I have a laptop. And I ended up deciding not to because I don't really need it. And it sounds like common sense. I'm not rediscovering the wheel. I'm just thinking about it. And I'm not recommending you do it, but if you're ever in that position of abstinence from anything, you will find a bit of enlightenment, I feel. Yeah. That wasn't really what I was going to talk about today. That was interesting. What I was going to talk about today was like losing hope and my fear of like losing hope. Why would I get into that? I don't know. Losing hope is a very scary concept to me. I've always been kind of... Listen, I don't like being a negative dude. I don't like being like this emo fucking... I hate life dude. I was that dude for a while in my early 20s, maybe teenage years. But like that's just not something that a mature person does, and it doesn't help with anything. But I must admit that I was never... I don't know if it's like genetic, bro. I just never grew up with like the ability to feel like happiness easily. Like it was always hard for me to find enjoyment in things. Not enjoyment. No, I could enjoy shit. No, that's a lie. It was more like I was always like pessimistic about shit, and I don't know if that was my upbringing, or maybe I indulged too much in my pleasures. Maybe I'm like dopamine fucked or whatever that's called. But I just never felt it. And when I felt it, it's been very, 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 very short. Like it's been a very short time, a period of time where I felt like that. And I thank the fact that I have felt it, because it gives me perspective. But I don't know, some people are just happy. And I think happiness or being like that is work. Maybe I'm not doing the work, who knows? I don't know, I feel like I'm being my own therapist right now. Anyways, I just wasn't born with it. Some people are just naturally happy, I feel. That's fine. It's okay to be like that, but I don't want to be unhappy. I want to be a happy person. I want to wake up and be happy about the day I'm going to live. And just like the fact, my fear of losing hope is because we have a saying where I'm from, and it's that the last thing you lose is hope. I don't know if they say that in the other parts of the world. I imagine they do. But yeah, last thing you do before you fucking kill yourself usually is lose hope. I'm not saying I'm gonna kill myself. Don't worry about it. I'm not. It's not a thing. But I am scared of losing hope, and recently I've been losing a lot of hope. Especially around like my money issues. I still haven't gotten a job. I've been looking for another job for a solid 4 months while having a job, right? Like I need 2 jobs to sustain, and nothing. Over 900 something jobs I've applied to, nothing. And so I'm starting to lose hope in that sense. I also feel very lonely. I want a girlfriend, and I don't know. I feel like that sounds kind of like something a loser would say, but I want someone in my life. I have a very nice friend here, and she keeps me company, but you know, that's not going anywhere further, and it's not like I need it to, but I miss my wife, you know? And maybe it's not that I miss her specifically, but she was there, and we did shit together, and we kind of had our backs, even if everything wasn't perfect. And yeah, I miss that. So dating is also an experience where it's an experience. We'll leave it at that. It's not easy right now. I don't really have the financial background. Like I feel like I'm not someone. I don't know if I'm not dateable. In the sense that I'm not really someone with money. I'm not really that well off. Right now, I'm barely getting my finances into order. I'm paying off debts and getting into new ones to stay here because I lost my job. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm unattractive. I think I'm good looking, like decently, right? I don't know. I mean, I've always something I feel like I've been trying to change is just the way I present myself. I've always been very apologetic, very agreeable, and I don't want to be that person anymore. And so that's something I'm doing. But I'm ranting. I'm going on tangents. I've lost hope in that sense of life. In this, not lost hope. I feel like I'm losing hope. And so that's the thing. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get money soon. I don't know if I'm gonna find someone who enjoys living with me or like gives me that happiness or that company I'm looking for. And I would want it to be something that lasts for life, right? That's another issue I have with just the concept of life in general, is that nothing lasts forever. And I understand that that's beautiful in a sense, and I gotta come to terms with that. But like I just wish that some things lasted forever, and that I knew they would. Okay, like I don't know if this is why they say that, but when people get married, they'll call their spouse like their rock, like you're my rock. And I don't know if they call it a rock because rocks, I mean, they do cease to exist, but rocks are rocks forever. They're your rock. They're there. You have it. It can get lost, but it's always going to be a rock. And it's always going to be your rock, even if it's somewhere else. And it feels like I'm trying to control someone or like keep them in my life by any means necessary, but that's not it. I would want them to want that. So yeah, when you lose hope, I feel like that's kind of the last straw. I feel like that's when you kind of give up on life. And I really don't want to get to that point, because losing hope is scary. I didn't really elaborate on that, but I guess I just kind of ranted. Anyways, it felt kind of nice. Just try not to lose hope. Woke up, wanted to make a video because I've been thinking about it for a while and I wanted to do something different with my life. And here I am. I don't know if anyone really cares. But I am here. I'll post this with some gaming shit in the background, and yep.